YouTube! Alright, so I've had a really rough day. I am mid-luteal phase. I am 6 days past ovulation, and I just wanted to kind of distract myself. I saw this trying to conceive questionnaire on a channel I recently subscribed to, which is Jine Wagner. She had been trying to conceive for over 2 years and recently started a channel all about their journey, and she made up this questionnaire that she posted on her channel. I thought it might be fun to do, especially since this trying to conceive channel is new for us, even though we're not new to vlogging. Well, we're kind of new to vlogging. I just started in April. The first question is, what is your name? If you don't know already, my name is Angel Taylor. And how old are you? I am 29, and that's hard to believe sometimes when I really stop and think about it, to be honest. I still feel like I am masquerading as a responsible adult. And my marital status, I am married to Justin. We have been married for 4.5 years. Actually, on the 28th of this month, so next week, will be exactly 4.5 years since we got married. His name is Justin, like I said, and he is 29 also. He is 2 months and 1 day older than me. And we've been trying to conceive for, this is the third cycle. So not quite 3 months, but yeah, this time around. Number child this will be for you. This would be baby number 2. If you can't tell from the background, yes, we have a toddler. Wonder how you can tell. It says, what medical issues, if any, do you have that might affect TTC? I do have a luteal phase defect. I have known this for quite some time, actually. Long before a doctor officially said it, but I did start charting as a way to use as natural family planning, fertility awareness method as our birth control not long after we got married. So I had over 2 years of charts to refer to before we got pregnant with Kaladin, which is our toddler's name. And I knew my luteal phases were always relatively short. They were around 11 to 12 days, which isn't too bad, but it is on the short end. And I would also have spotting leading up to my period coming, which I know is also a sign of it. And then when I got pregnant with Kaladin, I started having a lot of spotting during the 5th week, in which case I was diagnosed a threatened miscarriage. And I did have a series of ultrasounds to check if I had in fact miscarried, and they did blood draws to check the doubling time. And at 6 weeks, 3 days, I did see a heartbeat, and the double time was great. And so they deemed it okay. They didn't actually test my progesterone level as far as I know, but she said based on my charts that was probably the reason, and it wouldn't hurt to put me on progesterone supplements. So I was using suppositories twice a day, and I was instructed to use those until 14 weeks, I think it was. It was either 12 or 14 weeks. But yes, I have low progesterone issues, and sure enough, when my cycles returned, they started off extremely short, about 7 to 8 days for a while, and then it stretched to like 8 to 9 days, and then 9 to 10. I have had a couple 11-day luteal phases, but it's mainly around 10 days right now, which is like the absolute bare minimum length to be able to conceive, to actually give the embryo a chance to implant. So I will definitely need to be making some calls as soon as I get a BFP, so I can get back on the progesterone, so I can keep the pregnancy. So that can impact being able to conceive, because your body, you know, you do need to give the fertilized egg a chance to get down there and get it adequately implanted and start the pumping out the HCG before your period gets triggered to stop when the corpus luteum starts getting lower and lower on progesterone. So that could be causing some issues for us, but as far as I know, that is the only thing. I have had fairly regular cycles. I can't say totally regular. I ovulate anywhere between day 13 and 27 in my history, although a lot of those really off days were postpartum and also in the beginning days after coming off 13 consecutive years of hormonal birth control. So it did take some time for things to level out a little. On average, it's usually between day 14 and day 17, and on average, luteal phase is between 9 and 11 days. And so, yeah, with the natural family planning, whether we're trying to avoid or trying to conceive, we kind of have to treat each cycle as kind of a clean slate and not assume any days in there. So we actually look at the fertility signs and not what day on the calendar it is. Are you on any medications or treatments for infertility? For now, no. I am taking some natural supplements to help support, put me into optimum health, not only for trying to conceive, but also a little bit to help sway for a girl. And also, I am still breastfeeding Kaladin, and so I did really want to make sure that I have the adequate nutrients to replenish for the pregnancy. So I'm taking a magnesium, calcium, zinc supplement, which is also so that's a twofold thing. It's supposed to help sway pink, and also it's supposed to be very important for morning sickness. There's theories that morning sickness is a magnesium deficiency, and I had really bad, like actually had a mild case of hyperemesis with Kaladin, and so I'm hoping to avoid that. So we'll see if that helps. I'm also taking baby aspirin, which helps sway pink because it lowers your pH. And it is also helpful just in case. As far as I know, I don't have a clotting factor, but that is something that can cause miscarriages and whatnot, and it doesn't hurt to take it. So I'm taking that. I'm also taking a prenatal vitamin, and I am also taking a vitamin B complex. Vitamin B6 helps lengthen luteal phase, but it absorbs better as a complex. So I'm taking a 50 milligram complex. Of course, there's B vitamins in the prenatals as well, so it is boosting it up to, I think, at least 100 milligrams total. And then lastly, I have progesterone cream, which I take after I have confirmed ovulation, so 3 to 4 days of higher temperatures. When fertilityfriend.com gives me my crosshairs, then I start doing that. You don't want to start it too early because if you haven't ovulated yet, it can prevent you from ovulating. So after I know that I've ovulated, I'm pretty sure I've ovulated, I start using that daily. It's a cream, not very potent. I remember showing the doctors when I was having the threatened miscarriage with Kaladin, and they said that by itself was not sufficient to support a pregnancy. Needed higher levels, and hence the suppositories, but they did say it was not a bad amount for lengthening luteal phase, so it goes hand in hand with the B6 for that, and also just for the very, very beginning of pregnancy, just until I can get my hands on some suppositories. Definitely doesn't hurt, so I use that as well. Other than that, like, no, I'm not on any, like, medications prescribed by a doctor or anything like that. It says, do you use OPKs? Why, yes. Yes, I do use OPKs. I have a good number of them. I would say probably at least 50, maybe 75, maybe even 100. Also, why, yes, I do. These are this cycle. I had quite a few positives, actually, and most I've ever gotten. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 for sure positives in a row, and then 2 that was like one brand said yes and one brand said no. um, so I think the Wanfos are a little more sensitive, have like a lower threshold, because that one popped positive first and stayed positive longer than the other internet cheapy brand that I got, which is this one. It doesn't have a brand name on it, but yeah. Anyways, they're so cheap. They're like literally like less than 15 cents each, which is awesome because it could get really expensive, especially when I take them 2 to 3 times a day once I'm getting close to ovulating. Oh, it says if yes, how many to keep in stock at all times. I like a nice stash of them. I would say I never want to really get below 25, just to make sure. Hopefully, I get my BFP soon, and then I won't have to worry about it for a long while. The next question is, are you crazy about taking pregnancy tests? I don't think I'm crazy about it, but um, I definitely, I think I'm kind of middle of the road. Like I know ladies who start testing like even when they know it's like impossible to get a positive, and like like 6 days past ovulation and test like every day and like analyze if they see a line or they don't see a line or whatever. I don't do that. I do wait until as close to my period as possible. So generally around 10 days post ovulation or so, so that it's an actual like reliable time. Um, with Caladan, I didn't take any till 11 days, and then that was my big fat positive, and it was like obvious. So I probably could have gotten a positive test the day before, maybe even 9 days to be honest. But I don't know. I just don't want to. I try to just not think about it. I don't want to go too crazy because I feel like it's easy enough to get obsessive about trying to conceive in general that obsessively testing and trying to like you know see a line that's not there, whatnot, is just gonna add to it so much more. And for me, I think it would stress me out a lot more and just cause me a lot of undue disappointment and stuff. So I'm not crazy about it. The next question is, how many tests do you really have in the cabinet? Well, I got some Wanfos, new pack that just came, and I got one old one left. It expires this month, so I'm gonna take that one next. And I also have this bag, this stash, probably at least 20 of the other, and it's the green handle internet cheapie, which I know some people say are notorious for EVAPs. I haven't gotten one yet though. Granted, I haven't taken very many of these because a lot of the cycles that I had my stash of the OPKs were trying to avoid cycles, and so I had no need to test for pregnancy. I never was like late or anything where I suspected that it was. So there's that, and then there's this to back it up, and this to back it up, and this to back it up. So kind of a lot. Anyways, next question. How many times a day do you test? For ovulation, well, when it's real early on, and I know it's probably not anywhere close once a day, when it starts getting closer twice a day, when it starts getting really close 3+ times a day. With HCG strips, usually once a day, at most. Sometimes I will do once and then I'll wait like 2 days and do another. But again, I don't have a whole lot of experience with that. It only took the second cycle to conceive Cal, and I'm only on the third now. And I haven't had very many other times where I suspected I was pregnant. Usually those times it was like a one-off, like, if I am, it's going to pop up, and if it's negative, I knew I could trust it. Next is, what is the earliest DPO you started testing? I think 8 was the very earliest I've ever done it, and that was once. Someone somewhere is smoking a cigarette, and I started smelling it like really strongly. Like, as if someone was standing like right there smoking it. Um, Hopefully that's a pregnancy sign. Anyways, that's crazy. Maybe, you know, that was the very first thing that really made me suspect I was pregnant with Cal. I had had some symptoms leading up to that, but I didn't want to like overthink it. I didn't want to like imagine things, so I tried not to think about it. But 10 days post, I came home and I was like, what is that smell? And my husband was like, what are you talking about? And Justin's like, you're testing tomorrow, right? So I was actually gonna try to hold out till 12 days past that cycle, which happened to be St. Patrick's Day, and I thought that'd be fun to like, you know, good luck, whatever. But yeah, I was like, okay, I gotta test in the morning and see what's going on. So that was the first time that cycle that I really thought, oh my gosh, I actually think I'm pregnant. Do you live on YouTube watching live pregnancy tests for the DPO you are? I have not actually looked up specifically that yet, but here's a kind of funny story. The whole reason I even got into watching vlogs or making my own vlog goes back. I was on YouTube looking up tutorials for carries for woven wraps for baby wearing. YouTube is great for that because it's really hard to figure it out. It's really nice seeing someone do it and then being able to try it and like kind of, you know, yeah, follow along. And so I was looking up tutorials for that, and for some reason one of the suggested videos popped up with a live pregnancy test. And I can't remember whose it was. I think it was like a random one. And I was like, wow, I didn't know they had videos like that. That sounds kind of interesting though. It just like piqued my interest. I was curious. I was intrigued. So I watched that one. And then of course it popped up with a bunch more. And then it suggested bumps along the way. It said live pregnancy test with a twist. And I was like, a twist? What kind of twist? That I was really curious. So I watched that one and I was like, these people are cool. And of course, you know, it then it suggested their gender reveal video and I was like, oh, that might be cool. I watched that. I really liked them. I subscribed. And then after the next video came out, which was a bump date video, it suggested their daily bumps. I didn't even realize. I was like, oh, that's them. Okay. I started watching them and I really liked them. And then I started watching some other vlogs as well. And I'm like, you know, I want to do one. I felt like my primary reason for wanting to do it, I mean, I didn't care if I got popular at all. I mean, that would be fun and nice and whatnot. But my motivation was because we are living on the other side of the country from almost our entire families and most of our friends. And I knew eventually we'd move from here, so our friends here would eventually be apart from us. That it would be nice to have the vlog for those people who care about us to be able to look in on us and see Kaladin grow. So I'll let you go. I did watch the live pregnancy test video from the get-go, which started this whole journey for me on YouTube. And then, of course, there are some channels that I watch who are trying to conceive, so I've seen some more live pregnancy tests because of that, like Jenny Wagner and Ashley Lauren, and I went back and watched Heidi Kim's. I mean, it was definitely way after the fact because it was after Rosalind was already born. But that one was, oh, that one made me cry too. So anyway, they're just fun to watch. I don't know, I like them. But I haven't yet specifically looked up the same days past ovulation as I am. But I wouldn't, that's not out of the question. It could very well be a possibility in the future. The next question is, has your significant other threatened to hide all the tests in the house if you don't stop bugging them to look at your pee on stick, trying to convince them there is a second line? No, he doesn't even see them, to be honest. Like, sometimes I've been like, oh, check out this really positive OPK, but most of the time he doesn't even see them at all. Except when I did tell him I was pregnant with Kaladin, I put the 2 positive tests in with the stuff I gave him. There was an answer that was positive and a digital. I'm gonna put in a picture right now. Put those in. I got a shirt made that said Dad in Training and a card and some pirate pacifiers, put all those together in a bag to tell him I was pregnant. And so those he has seen, but I usually don't show him the pregnancy ones that are negative or that I'm like, I can't tell if I'm imagining that line or not. Because I don't know, I just don't see the point in like stressing him out too about it. Like he would want to just know for sure one way or the other. Next question. Does everyone in your family, friends know you're trying to conceive? Actually, no. The first time, uh, they didn't either. The first time I was like, you know, so that would be kind of weird to tell people. Like, isn't that like TMI to be like, oh, hey guys, guess what? We're trying to have sex now with purpose. Just thought you should know. Uh, I just thought that was a little much, and I had no idea how long it was going to take me. For all I knew, it could take a year or more, and I just didn't want the added pressure of people knowing. And, sometimes even when people mean well, they can say things that are really, like, hurtful or whatever. And, so I just wanted to, kind of keep it to ourselves. I think maybe one or two people, like, really close friends knew, but most everybody did not know until we announced we were pregnant. This time around, a couple of my close friends here locally to me know, uh, but most everyone, or no, you know what? My dad knows. I talked to my dad about it. Because again, I don't know. I'm right now editing the vlog footage from the day that we decided and I started talking about it. So once that gets posted, probably within the next day or two, then a lot more people will know. So in that way, I'm kind of glad that we have been behind in the editing for the vlog, so that it's been our little secret kind of for a couple months. So we'll see. And the next question is, do you want a boy or a girl? We do want a girl this time. We're trying to sway for a girl a little bit. I think Justin wants a girl more than I do, but his family makes a lot of boys. For like 5 generations, all boys. His uncle finally had 2 girls recently, like within the past 4 years. So like we know some that Taylor men can make girls, so that is reassuring, gives us some hope. But if baby number 2 is also a boy, I would still also be very happy. I do want Cal to have a little brother, and if they're closer in age by being subsequent children, that would be really good. That'd be a very special bond, and we'd still have time to try for a girl, and we could try a little bit harder to sway. I would prefer a girl, slightly more preference for a girl, but just like with the first time, since I do want both, then I would be absolutely ecstatic for a boy too. And the next question is, how long will you try before you take a break or give up? I don't know. It feels like it's been a long time, but 3 months is really not long at all. So it's hard to say because I have no idea how long it's going to take. I did do like one of those conception reading things just for fun. She did say it would be a girl, which is pretty cool. But she said I would not get conception or my first positive pregnancy test until somewhere between April 21st and May 10th of next year, which is really far off. So I hope she's wrong. But anyway, we might take a break, like, uh, take a month off for the cycle that would put the due date right around Cal's birthday. I don't know. Thanksgiving time baby, Christmas time baby. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see when we get there. That's not till like February-ish. So that's kind of a ways away. Uh, but yeah, there's no set, like we haven't set like a we're not only doing it this long kind of thing like I've seen some people do. And the last question is your significant other on the same page as you as far as trying to conceive? I would say so. We've talked kind of a lot about it, and he definitely says that he's ready, and he definitely wants at least 2. We've talked about 3 or 4. He's pretty open to it, but we shall see how things unfold for us, financially and whatnot. And, sometimes he has expressed that he doesn't like trying to conceive because it doesn't feel spontaneous to him. Like he doesn't like that we're having to schedule the time we have sex, basically. And I agree, it does kind of suck, but it's a couple days out of the month, and the rest of the month you can go back to being spontaneous. And on the flip side, I kind of like that better because we really can be more truly spontaneous the rest of the cycle because we're not worried about getting pregnant when we don't want to be. You know, when we were trying to avoid, we were always like wondering where we were in the cycle. Was it a safe zone time or not? And for that to line up with us both being in the mood and with us both having the opportunity to do it, with Cal being asleep or otherwise indisposed and everything, it was just hard for that to all line up. And so now that we're not worried about being pregnant, because we want to be pregnant, then that opens up an entire month of time that we could possibly do it, and that is a little bit more fun to me. I like that. I like the piece of not worrying about it being a bad thing, and it just kind of opens it up more to be more fun in general, I think. So anyway, that is the questionnaire, and I talked a lot, and I'm going to edit a lot, I'm sure. Anyway, I hope that that answers some questions that you may have had about us. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I will be happy to reply to them for you. You guys have a good night.